2015 was such a mega year for development that it's almost hard to choose, but obviously the agreement on the Sustainable Development Goals was big in development. And also the new climate agreement from Paris was a huge outcome and probably better than we might have dreamed of getting. As well, we had the latest Human Development Report launch on the role of work in human development. Very important recommendations for all countries on how to enhance the value of work for human development. The Ebola Pledging Conference for Ebola recovery was very important. We had 3 West African countries devastated by this disease. The international community has rallied for recovery. That's great news. Apart from that, there was all the sad and the good business as usual. The sad business as usual, responding to the many crises and how to keep development going in the middle of very difficult circumstances. But also highlights with good stories of successful programs and projects in so many countries. For UNDP, the agreement by world leaders in September on the Sustainable Development Goals and Agenda 2030 was the end of a long process, which began in quite a big way around 2012. There were so many national consultations around the design of the post-2015 agenda. We were alongside all these processes, helping the ordinary citizen's voice get heard, ensuring that developing country governments got to have their full say, and bringing our expertise. We played a big role alongside the climate conference as well, not least in the run-up to Paris, with supporting 43 countries with their intended nationally determined contributions, which needed to be made to make Paris a successful conference. So everything that was happening in development, UNDP was there in some shape or form, and generally in a major role. The 3rd UN World Conference on Disaster Risk Reduction in Sendai has produced another agenda for the next generation of how to lift countries' resilience to disaster. UNDP worked very closely on the preparation of the conference and the agenda, and we are preparing our own new program over 5 themes, 10 years, 50 countries, to really lift disaster resilience. When we see what happened in Nepal with the devastating earthquake, or Vanuatu with Cyclone Pam last year, and many, many other examples over previous years which people are so familiar with, we know there's work to do to improve resilience to shock. So that again must form a key part of our work going forth this year. One of the biggest challenges the world faces is how to get back to somewhere near full employment. We haven't really recovered from the impact on jobs of the global financial and economic crisis. As well, we have the largest youth generation the world has ever known. This is a huge challenge, both for those young people to be able to grow and develop their life pathways, and also for nations, because nations want youth to be a positive contributing force to development. So the recommendations in the report on work are of fundamental importance to all societies, because high levels of youth unemployment and underemployment are something affecting many developed and developing countries alike. If we take the crisis in Syria and its fallout within Syria and in the neighbourhood and now further afield, UNDP has been, for close to 3 years now, very engaged in trying to develop more sustainable solutions to the crisis. And a highlight for us in 2015 was the convening of the Dead Sea Resilience Forum in Jordan, co-hosted by the government of Jordan, where we brought 200 partners together to talk about how to work more effectively in situations of protracted crisis, because we know that relief-only approaches do not work. People want dignity, jobs, livelihoods, kids in school, health services, water, power, rubbish removal, sanitation. Life has to go on with dignity, and if we are not investing in those things in the middle of a crisis, the crisis becomes worse for people. Already by the end of last year, more than 70 countries had asked UN country teams for support with mainstreaming the SDG agenda into their national plans. Now, that work has begun. It must accelerate. Countries need to be thinking of what's the strategy for achieving these, how to make it absolutely an integral part of their national development program. I think this would be more than enough work in itself. As well, the climate action agenda is going to need a lot of follow-up. So I foresee an exceptionally busy year of pushing forward the big agendas the member states have decided on.